Welcome back. Today I'm in Madisonville, Louisiana, standing outside the Madisonville historical marker sign, right on the banks of the Tchefuncte River that runs south down that way into Lake Pontchartrain. So this city was originally called Cokie from the abundance of shells found in the area, and legend has it that in 1814 General Andrew Jackson stopped in Madisonville en route to New Orleans and stayed at General David B. Morgan's house. So stay tuned and I'll tell you more about Madisonville, Louisiana. Just right around the corner from the Madisonville historical marker, there's a Civil War earthworks historical marker. But during the Civil War, Madisonville was an important strategic spot because you had the Tchefuncte River just a few blocks behind me that way that I showed you earlier in the video. And the Confederacy would transport goods, lumber, up and down the Tchefuncte River, downriver to New Orleans. And then once the Union captured New Orleans, made its way north over here, they built a fort right where right there. And it stretched a little ways down this street in this neighborhood closer to the Tchefuncte. So pretty cool. Right around the corner from that first marker I showed you, not too far from the Tchefuncte River. So I found another Civil War earthwork sign on the same street. So the first one that I just showed you was down that way, down the road there. But I think you may be able to see something as we walk back here. I'm not sure. So see what we can find. After the Treaty of Paris was signed in February 1763, it ended the 7 Years' War between France, Britain, and Spain. It marked the end of the war in North America and created the basis for the modern country of Canada. France formally ceded New France to the British and largely withdrew from the continent. French settlers arrived on the banks of the Tchefuncte River in April of 1773. They made a living with tar, pitch, and turpentine. The French settlers called their town Coquille, French for shells, which was abundant along the river and lake. In 1779, the news of Indian attacks in Mobile frightened the French settlers, who packed their belongings and abandoned their homes along the Tchefuncte River. The Tchefuncte River sat abandoned until April 24, 1783, when Jean-Baptiste Bayham, originally from Barsac, France, arrived to settle on his 1,000 arpents of land he received from a Spanish land grant. In 1811, the town was renamed Madisonville in honor of President James Madison. Madisonville was chosen by the agents of the United States Navy Department for repairing and building of small vessels of war during the War of 1812. By 1814, Madisonville had 2 shipyards, including a U.S. Navy facility 2 miles above Madisonville. After the death of Jean-Baptiste Bayham, his 5 sons divided his land into lots. The town was later incorporated in 1817. During the American Civil War, the Confederacy used Madisonville and nearby shipyards early in the war for building and repairing vessels. But by 1862, after the fall of New Orleans, Union naval forces controlled Lake Pontchartrain. The 12th Connecticut Infantry Regiment participated in skirmishes near Madisonville, Louisiana during the American Civil War. These skirmishes were part of the regiment's operations in the Louisiana and Mississippi region from 1862 through 1864. The regiment's involvement in these battles highlights its active role in the Union Army's efforts to secure key territories in the South. As a result, Madisonville fell under effective Union influence, and Confederate activity in the area largely collapsed. The town endured economic disruption, shortages, and occasional skirmishes or raids, but saw no major battles.